Light on the frontier was precious and hard to come by. Is this what you think of when you think of candle making? This here is deer fat. It has been harvested from the animal, and I'm cutting it up and then dicing it into small pieces so that it can then be placed in this bucket and brought out to our kettle, which is over a fire, and then rendered down so that we can make tallow candles. As you can see, the fat has rendered down even more, and we're getting some more liquid, but this here tallow is not nearly enough. We need several more pounds so that we'll have a sufficient amount of tallow in here to dip the wicks down into. This is going to take a lot more time. It took a lot of commitment to make candles on the frontier. And with that said, it was important to keep what you made safe. For that reason, the pioneers would keep their candles in a candle box. I have one here, keeping these away from the critters that like to invade your home at night. Behind me is a candle ladder that has some candles on it that have been eaten by mice that have been skittering about. Now this would be a terrible thing if you can imagine all the hard work that you have spent and then to have them eaten away, knowing that the only time of year you could make candles is the winter time. Now when I say that, the reason for it is that you have to have the cool air for the candles to solidify around the wick. So just like bacon grease in a pan, you have the liquid, the tallow, the fat that needs to go from liquid to a solid. So I have a wick that as I dip it in to the fat, to the tallow, it starts to solidify on it when it's exposed to the cold air and then dipped into an ice bath. Eventually, as those layers, dip after dip, start to form, you end up with candles that have then solidified and built up to where they're usable, and you now have something to save and reserve for the rest of the year. This is why light was precious. Well, folks, we're at the end of a long, smoky, smelly day of tallow candle making. I want to thank you for joining me at the Historic Daniel Boone Home.